What's up, guys? Alan here with eatsleeptrade.net. I'm going to be bringing you guys the swing trading watch list and market update for the week of August 14th, 2017. Is the S&P 500 in trouble, and are we facing a larger market correction with the fear of war and North Korea? We're going to talk about that here in this update. Alright guys, so first up, let's talk about the S&P 500. And we had a pretty big sell-off on Thursday with the scare or threat of going to war with North Korea, or something or anything happening with North Korea, and just the overall threat of North Korea. So we had a pretty big sell-off, and the first thing that I'm looking at on the S&P 500 is all the previous times that we came down and tested that 50-day moving average, how the market responded, how we overall reacted, and were those dips bought up. And most recently, or within the last 4, 5, 6 months, each time we neared that 50-day moving average, that was the area that dips were bought up. And the last time that we had a pretty major selling day, which might have been media related or news related or something that caused a little bit of fear or panic, was immediately bought up, and not too far after that back to its prior highs. So I think at this point in the market, that's really what we need to see. We do got a doji candle on Friday, which can be a sign of reversal, had pretty good volume. So I think we really need to see this dip be bought in the market come back up to this 2470, 2480 level. Otherwise, this little bit of fear is enough to, or could be enough to change the trend or direction of this market, and that trend can hold in a downward direction until something else comes along that is positive news enough to get people to start buying and cause that trend to reverse again. And the time between those two trend reversals, you never know. So you really got to be careful and pay attention here. If we do lose this 50-day moving average, it's going to be the first time in a while that we've done that. Basically, the first time this year that we've done that. So that could end up playing a pretty significant part in which direction the market continues. So definitely a spot where we need to pay attention, check our risk. If you're in a stock, it starts moving against you, the first thing you should do is probably pull up the S&P 500, NASDAQ, whatever you want to pull up, and just see what the overall markets are doing. And are they pulling back? Is that causing your stock to pull down? And just be aware of where the overall market is right now as we go into trading next week. All right, guys, let's get into the stocks on our top watch list. All right, first up on the list is ARRY, and you can see it looks like we might be pulling in for a trend reversal here. I'm really going to be watching this $9 area, as that is a pretty significant area of resistance. We don't have that 20-day crossed above the 50 yet, but they are right next to each other. We've had some pretty good, decent buying volume, so that's what brought it to my attention. And want to see if we're going to get a trend reversal here. That $9 resistance area is going to be the main area to watch next week. Next, let's take a look at BLDR. You can see we had the earnings announcement and had a nice strong day post earnings announcement, and has since kind of pulled back to this support area, resistance turning support area, 20-day moving average support. And so far looks like that dip's going to be bought. Nice engulfing candle Friday. So if Monday comes and this looks like this trend is going to continue back up towards 17, this gives us a pretty good entry spot with a very low risk and a very nice reward. Only risking down below that 20-day moving average around 15.90. So about 40-cent risk, and you're looking at a 70+ cent reward on that. Next, let's take a look at GoPro. Another one that was a major earnings gapper, so that's always a good sign. And then the pullback, that's where you want to buy. I don't really like to chase up into the earnings gap, but I do like to wait for that pullback consolidation and try to take advantage of it there. A little bit of space between it and the 20-day moving average, still but going to keep it on close watch, see if this does hold up as a reversal here. And also it's going to probably depend a lot on which direction the market's going to go. So if the market continues and starts rallying back up towards its highs, it's a really good opportunity to take advantage of all the dip buys that occurred from the panic selling in the overall market. And this is definitely going to be one on the top watch going into next week. So next is INAP. And another one here had a gap and then made a nice little run up to around 480, and now it's kind of pulled back. And this little selling right here is just like I was talking about, where the overall market is having some type of panic or selling or fear or whatever's happening, and this stock was really affected by that overall market pullback. You could see not very often does the stock have that much range on its down days. It's normally more orderly and nice and consecutive, not just boom, two big strong sell-off days. But we did bounce off that 20-day moving average, and we are near this resistance turning support area around 420, between $4 and 420. So that's going to be good buying opportunity if the market holds up here, and should easily see this now come back up towards to test these highs around 470, 480, and maybe even continue up towards $5. So I'm going to keep that on to watch next week. I just kind of like the way that's set up there. And if the market does us a good favor and the dip is bought up, then stocks like this give us a good opportunity to take advantage of that. Next, let's take a look at MYGN. So MYGN is one that we added to our watch list a few weeks back, and it's just a chart that you don't see something like this very often, where you've got a nice orderly pullback, hits a 50-day moving average, and then just runs straight up for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then again a nice orderly pullback right to that 50-day moving average, and then starts continuing that trend again. Not very often do you get a chart that is that clean, that orderly, and really works that well. But we did have this on watch for quite a few weeks, and I knew I was going to find at some point a way to get in on a trade and take advantage of this trend, and started to notice it back on August 3rd, August 4th, and finally on the 7th, I just said, all right, I'm going to pull the trigger. Earnings was coming up, got some at $24.90, and the plan was to sell some of my position the next day if we got a nice move into earnings, because earnings was going to be reported after hours. We didn't get the move that I was looking for, but I was still up on the position, so I just really downsized it. So I wasn't holding anything too big. Earnings came out, and after hours, the stock actually sold off really hard, and then just stopped right around the 50-day moving average, which was at that time right around $24 or just below $24. So I decided to hold it out and see what was going to happen. And when the market opened the next day, the dip was bought up, and it just made a nice run all the way up to new highs, and I was able to sell some up above 27, which was really nice. And now we just got this nice pennant. We've had good volume, good relative volume on the breakout. Now we're forming a pennant. We've got this resistance turning support area right around this 2660 area. The day after the big run, came down, tested, people were there to buy up that support. That's always a good sign. And we're just going to look for a flag setup, pennant, continuation, breakout, back up to new highs. If we can get opportunity to pick up some more, we definitely will. Might need to consolidate a little bit. That's a pretty big move that it doesn't make, but this stock does run for many days on end in one direction. So the trend is definitely your friend in this one. So keep it on close watch. Might get another opportunity to pick up some more shares here on this one, and join along for that trend continuation. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up for this week's swing trading watch list and market update. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys got on your watch list this week, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next weekly update. Alright guys, good luck into trading next week, and we will see you in the next video.